Specifically
And
bratwursts.
he doesn't eat the bratwurst. He makes the bratwurst into bratsies. Keep up.
Of
Yeah, where have you
course.
been?
Yeah,
Not under that convenience store. I can tell you that.
exactly. But during his time while he was awake, he started making a giant, uh, like, he called it a goalie golem. It was a golem made up of the victims of the Bratzies, and it was like a shell of skin and pus and funness, wearing a goalie mask and wielding a hockey stick as a weapon, and then
Of
the Bratzies would
course.
climb into it and operate it like a mech.
So is this Nazi Canadian too? Because everything he does sounds Canadian. Except for the bratwurst part, that's definitely German.
The Nazi is German. He came from Germany to Canada during World War II, and there was a Canadian Nazi who was trying to start the Canadian Nazi Party, who he started idolizing because it was a foreigner who truly understood the Nazi way, and then he made that base thing. And once he woke up, he started learning English by watching Netflix. So the entire time he talks, it's in either a thick German accent, or he's doing a bunch of impressions.
So where does the hockey come in?
Canada.
Your butt.
Right. Do either of you guys care about the Flash movie?
Oh.
Or the fact
No,
that
but I'm gonna watch it anyways.
you might
Yeah.
not, because they still don't have a director.
If it gets made, I will watch it, but I can guarantee it will be nowhere near as good as the TV show.
Well, since they still don't have a director, because they lost the last one a few weeks back, and that was like their third choice, and he was
Man,
like,
WB is fucking up.
Kevin Smith was mentioning how what's his name that did the Deadpool movie, I can't remember right now.
Tim Miller.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
But he's doing a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, so he can't.
Well, anyway, Kevin Smith was mentioning that, and why doesn't Kevin Smith just do it? Like,
Exactly. His episode of The Flash was probably the best episode.
I feel like Kevin
so
Smith's not doing anything better right now.
But Moose Jaws. When you already have a better Flash, Moose Jaws is better than this Flash. His second Flash episode is tonight. So if that's good, maybe enough people will like it. Just be like, fuck it, Kevin Smith can direct the Flash movie. And then
Yeah.
Batman shows up, and things are awkward because Ben Affleck just kind of stopped talking to Kevin Smith once he became Batman.
Well, clearly he's Batman. He's not allowed to have
Exactly.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever catch up on Horror Story, Jarek?
No.
You need to. It's bad, but you need to. And
You said it started off good, though.
it started off
right?
really good, and it went down really quick.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I
it's the
don't even
opposite
think
of
it's,
the last season.
I don't think it started off good. Like, throughout the entire time, I just kept thinking about how there's so many things I could change that would make it so much better, but they couldn't change it halfway through because they already established everything that made it bad early on.
Yeah.
Like, they should not have presented it as a TV show until
They
this
should
episode.
yeah, they should have presented it as a TV show. Like, it should have been in the same format, but they shouldn't have let us in on it.
Yeah, like, they shouldn't have had any of the interviews with Shelby and whoever the fuck else.
The only problem is then when Shelby and Matt showed up halfway through, we wouldn't have given a fuck about them.
That's when they get their good writing pants on and start having good episodes at that point instead. Or, like, we'll just have a ton of character development right then. Like, they established that since...
Well, if you remember the scene with the chick who played Violet in the trailer, and when she was watching and the guy was like, that's not even Lee, the real Lee is over there. That's not Lee, she's Lee. Like, that's how I feel the audience would have been if they would have thrown
Exactly.
all of those characters at us at one time.
Then they would have been able to be like, hey, this is a character that we can relate with, because she has no idea what the fuck's going on either. Or she believes...
I feel like
or
the
at least
audience
believe that to be
isn't
true.
smart enough for that.
Maybe. Probably.
At least they think that, because that's kind of how they presented it. The point being, the chick who played Monet, Angela Bassett, was cast for the Black Panther movie.
That could be good. I didn't like her as lead, but I liked her as Madame Laveau, I think it was, in Coven.
Whoever she played as.
The Black Witch, whatever her name was.
Queenie?
Widescreen? You know,
The character name was Queenie.
The Black Voodoo one.
Yeah.
Oh! I don't remember what her name was.
Who's Ramona?
Looking up.
Ramona in,
Ramonda.
Ramonda. No,
in Coven?
It's the Queen of Wakanda.
Ramona in whichever one. Because that's the same chick that played Monet. And that chick's name is Angela Bassett, and she's the one who's playing Ramonda in the Black Panther movie. But I cannot for the life of me remember who Ramona is. She also played the chick in Freak Show with 3 tits.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. There's apparently some controversy over the new Tomb Raider movie. Also, there's a new Tomb Raider movie. They're rebooting.
Based on the movie, or the video game, the 2009, or whatever year it was, video game.
Yeah, they're rebooting the movies since there is a game reboot. And there's like, I don't even remember, Swedish, Norwegian, someone. Alicia Vikander. Some fancy model chick actress. She is starring as Laura Croft. And there is a like change.org petition to uncast her as Laura Croft because everyone says she is terrible and not going to fit that role at all.
Why don't they just get the chick that they used the face model for Laura Croft to be Laura Croft in the Laura Croft movie?
Exactly.
Doesn't mean she's a good actress.
Jesus.
Well,
Fucking-
she was Laura Croft in the game. Like, everything that Laura Croft did was her.
It was all captured from her. Her
She did the face,
and everything.
she did the voice, she did the mocap.
Yeah, she's Laura Croft.
Yeah,
Through and through.
she's to Laura Croft what Robert Downey Jr. is to that one guy, Iron Man. That's it.
I wouldn't say she's the same extent as Ryan Reynolds to Deadpool, because that's almost impossible.
Of course, because
But she's pretty high up there. She's not too far down from that.
Regardless,
Deadpool specifically mentioned being Ryan Reynolds years ago.
Regardless, there's a ton of controversy around it. Internet controversy, nonetheless, but still.
My God. That's
And
the worst
Ryan
kind.
Reynolds was in the comics. They specifically named Deadpool as being a cross between Ryan Reynolds and
a Sharpay. Yeah. I read that, thanks
I
to
did.
you.
I read that thanks to you.
You sent it to me. And then I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And then you were like, okay, I'm going to read it.
I just got super fucking excited for a second, and I just had everything ripped away from me.
Welcome to life.
I went to...
We all feel like that all the time. No.
This is worse. I went to Camilla Luddington's Wikipedia, who's the person who plays Lara Croft in the games, and should play her in the movies. And under her filmography for films, I saw Justice League Dark, and she's playing Zatanna, which got me really fucking excited. I looked at the notes section, and it says animated. I mean, they guarantee it's going to be good, but I was really excited to see Zatanna in a movie.
Nope.
You'll have it one day.
No, I won't.
Also probably true.
Not that anyone cares, but still continuing on the Lara Croft bit of information. Nathan McCree did all of the composing for the original Tomb Raider games, and they've brought him in
Jesse.
to compose for the new movie as well.
Why can't they just get the guy who did the new games? That music was so good.
Because they got the guy who did the original games.
But that wasn't even good. Like, everyone always played those games because of Lara Croft having big boobs. No one cared about the actual anything about those games. They weren't fun, they weren't entertaining, they weren't anything.
I've always said those games were very difficult because they were super hard to play one-handed.
They were really buggy, too.
But the new games,
and Square,
Tomb Raider and Rise of the Tomb Raider, are both really fucking good in every way.
Yeah.
Speaking of games,
my favorite thing is when people get mad about the new Tomb Raider movies, saying that they're too much like the fucking Uncharted games.
Yeah.
I love that so much. It reminds me of people bitching about the old Scarface game being too much like Vice City. I
know specifically who you're talking about.
Who was it that said that?
Fucking Scott Gillespie. If you're out there, fuck you. He was
too much like Vice City.
So pissed. And I had to point out to him
stupid.
That Scarface was a movie that came out long before Vice City, long enough ago that Vice City was based on it. And fuck you, Scott.
Yeah, Scott. If you're listening, keep watching.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Also,
but
fuck
still
you.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I completely forgot about this, and it's too late now, but I don't care. The writer's strike, or not the writer's strike, fuck, that was like 10 years ago. The voice actor strike that we were talking about earlier, on a completely different segment, unrelated to this, they leaked news regarding projects that they were working on. And in 2015, Telltale Games mentioned that they were working on a Marvel project, and they wouldn't say what it was. And it's a Guardians of the Galaxy game. So look forward to that sucking.
Alright, well, I have to say that's probably one of the least interesting things they could have made it be.
Yeah.
The most exciting thing it could have been would be like an X-Men Telltale game, but whatever.
Yeah, but Marvel said fuck X-Men. Like, they just stopped all X-Men stuff, basically.
Yeah, I know.
That reminds me, there was, what was the Capcom game? Like X-Men versus something? There was supposed to be another one coming out. Not gonna happen now.
X-Men versus Street Fighter, I'm assuming?
Probably that one. They were probably gonna try and make a new one of those, and they didn't get the rights to X-Men, so they don't get to do that now. But I brought all of this...
the Galaxy game, all I need to do is get Laura Bailey as Gamora and, like, Travis Willingham as Drax, and get Nolan North as Groot, and Travis Baker as Star-Lord. It'll be the best game ever. Forever.
I feel like
and then
it's still
give them
suck.
royalties.
Yeah. But I brought that up because I don't know if you care or no, but they leaked some other titles as well when that was leaked. There is a new... I don't know if it's... if you were familiar with the Agents of Mayhem game that was announced.
Nope.
By Volition. It's
People who made Saints Row.
It's in the Saints Row universe, but it's not necessarily the same story. It's a different, like... story completely, I guess. But there was a game leaked called Project Atlas that was linked to Saints Row. It was listed as a Saints Row game. So I don't know if that is the Agents of Mayhem or if they're making a new Saints Row secretly.
Both.
But maybe both, and maybe that's interesting to you. I don't know. I wanted to include that. As well as...
If Agents of Mayhem isn't a Saints Row game, that sounds more interesting than Saints Row.
Agents of Mayhem is not Saints Row, but it's in the same universe.
It might be awesome then.
There was a handful of other games leaked. The only two that I cared about enough to want to mention. Sledgehammer Games, Call of Duty Lethal Combat. I'm not sure. That sounds to me like maybe... I don't know. Do you think that's going to be futuristic, or is that going to be something else?
To me, it kind of sounds like a gang warfare type of game.
I could see that.
Solely by the name.
I could see that.
Not to say much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other one that was worth mentioning, Square Enix had a project titled Final Fantasy Black. Do with that what you will.
Maybe
probably
it's...
the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah. So to say.
That's all I can think of. They've been talking about how they're doing, or they're going to be re-releasing Final Fantasy VII in an episodic manner, which is a lot of people's panties in a knot. But
I feel like that was announced.
They're still going to buy it, so they can shut up.
That was announced, though, and these were all specifically games that are still working under code names and aren't announced.
Well, just because they're using a code name doesn't mean that they want people to know, like, that they're working on it already, or how far along it is. They could just be like, hey, this thing is going to be called codename that, even though we've already announced it, because we don't want people to know how far along we are on it, because we don't want people being pissy.
At the end of the Final Fantasy VII remake reveal, it literally just said Final Fantasy VII remake. It didn't say anything else.
Yeah, they're just like, Final Fantasy VII remake. They showed, like, the original opening cutscene whenever you start a new game, like, remastered, and, like, that's pretty much it.
I may be wrong, but I remember hearing that there were delays with that game.
Probably.
That could be related.
There's always delays, though, with everything.
Square Enix never has delays. Cough. Kingdom Hearts 3. Pretty sure we're going to get Half-Life 3 before we get Kingdom Hearts 3 at this point.
At this point, nobody's going to care by the time we get either. They're both going to turn into Duke Nukem.
Oh god, don't say that. That's horrible.
And then by the time they're released, the only people who buy them are the ones that buy the Super Legendary Edition and regret it for life.
Yeah, those fucking losers.
My name is Jarek, and I'm right here.
I'm sorry for your loss.
No, it's cool. I still have my Carpe Nukem bust. It's cool. The game wasn't. And I got some 6-sided dice with nukes for ones. So yeah.
Wow! 6 whole sides? Golly.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing is you got some achievements.
Yep. I got
That's what
some
really
dice.
matters.
And I got my Carpe Nukem bust that somebody knocked over and it broke.
Oh.
But it's okay because the stand broke off from the top of it, so I can just like put the top of it back onto the stand
and pretend
it'll stay
like
there
you're happy
because it's wide, and then pretend like no mistakes were made because they weren't.
Yeah.
Ever.
Speaking of delays and mistakes being made and regret and
Is Kim Kardashian pregnant again?
No. Maybe, probably, I don't know.
Probably.
Batista stated in regards to some rumors that were circulating that as long as there is a James Gunn directing the film, there is a possibility of Howard the Duck. So while there's no rumors even mentioning a feature-length film, quite a bit of a possibility that we're going to see some Howard the Duck in the future.
I swear to God, if he's not there helping them fight Thanos.
Look for it.
He better be in Infinity War. That's all I'm saying.
If Marvel does Howard the Duck, DC needs to do Arm Fall Off Boy. I'm going to be so disappointed. All I want is Arm Fall Off Boy in a movie. And Zatanna.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I'm gonna look stupid here and ask, who the fuck are you talking about?
Well, you see, Arm Fall Off Boy is one of the greatest superheroes of all time. His superpower is that his arm falls off.
I just imagine you like pulling out your note cards and like shuffling them. Well, since you asked.
Exactly what I'm doing.
So his arms fall off. That's his power.
Mm-hmm. He can also reattach it, I think.
But then it falls off.
He boops it in.
He just like rolls around on the floor until it goes back in.
It's like Bender in Futurama. He picks up one arm with his other arm and attaches it, and then attaches the second arm with his attached arm.
No, his name is Arm Fall Off Boy, not Arms
Only
Fall
one
Off
of
Boy.
them. I'm sorry.
Only one arm falls off.
Oh. Can he choose which one?
Maybe.
Or is it always his right or left?
I think it's just his left arm that can be taken off.
That's a pretty amazing power. He has like twice the reach.
Yeah, you could punch the shit out of somebody at twice the arm length. He should be a boxer. Obviously.
I feel like... How old is that? Like what... When was he created?
1989.
I feel like Deadpool might have...
A new best friend?
No, Deadpool might have played like homage to him because there is a certain scene that I'm remembering in the comics that may or may not have been like the last one. So spoilers. Where his arm came off. His arm fell off and he used it to like reach something to like save the universe basically. So like his left arm fell off and he used his right arm to grab it to stretch out and like reach something. If I'm remembering this correctly, if not, I just made the entire thing up.
Well, Arm Fall Off Boy doesn't use his arm for reaching. He uses it as a club. He takes off his left arm and beats people with it, or things with it, like piñatas.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I made that up and I was reaching.
Arm Fall Off Boy is a member of the Legion of Superheroes.
I wonder what his fan club consists of. Like,
no one.
If we get a Legion of Superheroes movie, I demand a West Coast Avengers movie.
I would watch the fuck out of that.
I'd have Midwest.
Honestly, I would watch a movie that's just Deadpool torturing Mr. Immortal for like 2 hours.
You mean just killing him over and over?
Yeah.
They already made that. It's called The Passion of the Christ, basically.
Too soon.
Marvel needs to get X-Men back so they can make Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Even though the two I want to see are both X-Men related. It's Xavier and Kitty Pryde's. My two favorites. He kills Xavier by just letting him read his mind, and Xavier can't handle it. Just dies.
Do you guys know anything about the Inhumans?
No.
Other than what's currently on S.H.I.E.L.D.? Not even?
I know they're based on the moon.
They are sailors on the moon. Whalers on the moon. My bad. But do they carry a harpoon?
Do you?
I don't know. Sorry. Do you know that they're getting their own miniseries?
Mm-hmm. On ABC.
Yep. They're getting their spin-off show from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And
No,
it's probably... No?
it is pointedly not a spinoff.
Oh.
It is officially
Until
not a
Daisy
spinoff
joins
of
it.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they were supposed to be coming up with a movie in the future, and it's not a rework of the planned movie, which apparently is still going to be in the works. And the important thing is, they are releasing the TV show in IMAX.
What?
The first 2 episodes are going to be released in IMAX because...
Yeah, Marvel does that sometimes with shows.
I don't think so, because that's like the very first time. Like, it's a pretty big deal. IMAX partnered with Marvel and ABC, and IMAX is footing the bill for the first 2 episodes, so that's going to have like an IMAX budget. And it's going to be officially premiered and released in IMAX. You won't be able to see it on TV. And that's the first 2 episodes, and then the rest of the show will be on ABC.
And awful.
And maybe awful. We'll have to see. But that's going to be like a link between, in my opinion, a link between the cinematic universe and the TV universe.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. The link is already there. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is 100% related to the cinematic universe. Like, stuff that happens in the movies affects Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They said for a while that they weren't
going
to do that anymore, but now they're saying they're going to do that again, and now they're like...
They're releasing a TV
hard.
show in theaters, like cinematic TV show that is like hardcore a link, not just like things happening that affect it. That is a step between...
I mean, no, because in the movies, it's revealed that S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra, or Hydra is S.H.I.E.L.D., whichever one. And the show is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, it's fully connected in every way. Coulson, who's been in like all of the Marvel movies up until the Avengers, is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The main thing that is
pretty
missing...
much a whole season was them fighting Hydra from the inside.
The main thing that is missing, though, is the jump between the fan base of the movies and the fan base of the TV show. Because there are people that love the Marvel Cinematic Universe that don't give a crap about TV, and there's people that enjoy watching TV and won't go to the movies. And this will bridge the gap between the two and increase the audience for the TV show, which increases the budget for all the TV shows. And it will allow them to have more room to work with the films and like...
Okay.
Like, basically,
so
it's like almost a crossover, in my opinion.
It could be really helpful unless they get like a fraction of both audiences to interested in that, and then they will just screw themselves, which is what I'm really worried about. But I hope that works as a person who watches both of them, like all of the movies and the show. And I'll probably end up watching the Inhumans show in theaters. Oh, but that sounds like a pain in the ass.
The show in IMAX is going to be based on Black Bolt and the royal family. So it's going to be more of a, like, I guess, traditional story within the universe.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be able to bring the big names into S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, because Black Bolt's supposed to be the leader of the Inhumans in the comics.
Marvel seems to essentially be treating the Inhumans as their own cinematic version of the X-Men. Since they're not allowed to use the X-Men, they're just using the Inhumans as
I mean,
the X-Men.
isn't that kind of the deal anyway?
Yeah, but this is like a for sure thing. Like, before it was the Inhumans and X-Men together, but now it's just the Inhumans are the X-Men. for now.
Except for the Inhumans aren't nearly as interesting as any of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe they will be.
Maybe.
They could make them as interesting, but...
Have you ever read a comic book from, like, the 60s or the 70s or anything that's not brand new? Because they're fucking
terrible. Where they talk
terrible.
about boners?
Yes, and thwarting them. They're pretty much terrible. Like, they're awful. The characters are there, the story is there, but it's completely bland and uninteresting. And I feel like until the characters get put into the cinematic universe and get the modernized treatment, then there's just that story that's still basically untold because it's trash. And I know people will disagree with me, but fuck, old comics are terrible. It's like trying to read a classic novel. If you've ever sat down and tried to read Bram Stoker's Dracula, and I probably did not pronounce that correctly, but if you've ever sat down and tried to read Dracula, it's like trying to sit down and read the Iliad. Like, it's awful. Not that Dracula's not a fucking amazing character, and not that it's not a great story, and it can be turned into a wonderful movie or an awesome TV show. You'll never get me to read it. I've tried. And that's kind of what I think about the Inhumans. Like, they're not that interesting because they're not yet fully developed as a part of the universe that is interesting. They're still left in that uninteresting part. Does that make sense?
I guess, but
enough.
There's so many X-Men that I already just absolutely love, and they're basically throwing them away so they can work on something else. And it irritates the fuck out of me.
Yeah, when I think of my favorite Marvel characters, they're essentially all X-Men.
Yep. Gambit, Storm, and
Nightcrawler.
Comic book Rogue, and Colossus.
And Nightcrawler, and Deadpool.
And sometimes Deadpool.
Shadowcat.
Shadowcat's fucking awesome.
Psylocke.
Most badass Jewish person in comic books. Shadowcat.
Maybe said Mystique, but if it didn't, Mystique again.
Mystique. Magneto.
Yep.
All amazing characters. Right into the trash. Let's look at this group with a mute and a guy with an enormous head instead.
Speaking of Marvel stuff, I don't know what to say. Something about somewhat unrelated. The Guardians of the Galaxy trailer for the movie is really colorful. I've noticed. I went back and watched stuff from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and comparatively, the new one is just, like, full of color, and the old one was basically brown and gray.
Yeah.
I love that.
Brown's a color.
Your color.
Your color, shut up.
Okay, now,
hey
watch the
there.
language.
Easy.
It's
That word
racist
doesn't
here.
fly these days.
That's our word.
So,
we're only allowed to say pigment now.
I feel like that's still racist.
You're only allowed to say melanin.
CW.
Pigs for short.
CW.
CW released posters kind of teasing the new crossover thing.
Yeah, they did.
Are either of you still participating in any of the shows?
Literally daily.
Yep. Except for Supergirl. I have to build up the courage to start watching that.
Well, you're gonna have to.
Sorry. That show just makes me angry. Like, genuinely angry. Like, I have so much hate for everything because of that show.
It's like every episode they're like, hey, we have a great idea for an episode. I want you, the writers, to just see how much shit you can turn this great idea into, and then we've got an episode. Alright, good. Make sure they make several contradictory remarks to things that they've just said. Alright, we're good. Let's go. We've got a show.
And Supergirl and her sister are so fucking racist now. Like, it just came out of nowhere.
What?
Like...
Explain. Spoiler warning, everyone.
Yeah, spoilers. Anytime anything happens now with this season, there's like, oh, it happened because he's a Daxamite. No, Mon-El being a Daxamite is meaningless. Like, he was missing because he got kidnapped, and they just were like, no, he's probably off with some floozy because he's a Daxamite. No, actually he got kidnapped, and none of you cared enough to look. But fuck you. I hate this show. Hate everything.
Maybe
hate Daxamites.
Maybe they're building it up on purpose so that you do hate them?
Well, they're doing a damn good job at it.
I'm not
doing a really good job.
I'm admittedly
beginning of the first season.
I'm admittedly not really paying attention to the CW universe, but if I understand it correctly, the crossover potentially might have, I don't know, Supergirl kind of as a bad guy, maybe? I'm trying not to, like, do spoilers. I don't know how to word it.
Well, it's Heroes versus Aliens or something is the title
of
the crossover. They've been advertising it like crazy.
Okay, well, okay, so what is Supergirl if not an alien?
A hero.
She's a little bit of both, right? Like, I'm not wrong here?
She'll probably be the Civil War Spider-Man equivalent.
She's too racist to be a hero. She's an alien.
That's true. They'll get Martian Manhunter to do it instead.
Yep. Martian Manhunter's the real hero.
There'll probably be some crossover. I'll say Medusa. Just throwing that word out there. Doesn't mean anything. And that'll be their way of bridging the universes, and then all of the aliens go to the other universe that doesn't have aliens at all and start fucking shit up, and then Martian Manhunter, Miss Martian, and the other one, Supergirl, all show up and are like, hey, we're heroes and aliens. Let's be friends. Super friends.
That's the best kind of friends.
And then they, like, all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, or do they kill Supergirl? I'm not really following here.
Hopefully they just kill Supergirl.
Yeah. Or hopefully they just, like, repeatedly stab her for the watch using red kryptonite.
You know what the worst thing is about the Supergirl show?
It doesn't have pink kryptonite?
That!
As far as we know...
As far as we know.
As far as we know, that only works on Superman.
Okay.
Because Supergirl gave it to Superman.
Well, see, for Supergirl, it's a choice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Duh. Anyways, the worst part about the show is I've never watched, or I've never looked at a Supergirl comic. I've never read any comics with Supergirl in them. And Rick has built up Supergirl so much. And this is my first experience with Supergirl. And I'm like, what is this stupid bitch? And why does Rick care so much? This is awful. I hate everything.
Yeah.
If this is like one of the best characters from fucking DC, I don't want to read anything DC ever again. What is this shit?
Supergirl is my favorite DC character, and they basically took her and made a Last Airbender movie with her.
So basically,
no, what they're doing is that scene from South Park with Indiana Jones. That's what they're doing.
I can see that. So do you, Rick,
bending him over a vending machine and raping her?
Is Supergirl just like the anti-Flash?
Pinball machine.
Yeah.
Because I know you barely tolerate Flash in the comic books, and he is like your super favorite right now as far as live action stuff goes.
In the CW universe, like the main Arrowverse version of it, the Flash is probably my favorite out of all of them. Or Season 1 Felicity.
Yeah, she is.
But if we throw in Supergirl, then I'm going with Martian Manhunter, because Martian Manhunter is still fucking badass in Supergirl.
I'd have to say Captain Cold for me.
I don't like the way he talks.
Yeah, he talks stupid. But here's the thing. Barry would be my favorite, but he can't fucking learn his lesson ever. He's a stupid fuck.
That comic episode has so many cracks in it.
Oh! Jesus.
Like,
I mean, every season he makes the same fucking mistake at
every
least
episode.
Twice.
So, Korra? Or...
Basically. Yeah.
Continuing with the Avatar references.
Oh.
Like, he keeps time traveling, or creating different universes, or visiting different universes, and he fucks something up, and he comes back, and everything's ruined, and he's just like, you know what I'm going to do to fix this? Like, the exact same thing I just did.
You know what? If that upsets you, do not read the new Harry Potter book, all I'm saying. Because that's literally everything that was wrong with that book.
Sounds about right.
If you take the parenting level that was witnessed in the first horror story series with Violet, and how the fact that she was fucking dead for like a month before they noticed, and mix that with time travel, like that's basically the Harry Potter book.
Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers, fuck it, it's awful. Nobody cares.
I hate Supergirl
Hey, as
so
long
much.
as long as people are buying it and she's still donating the money she makes from the books to charities, who cares?
I rank that script that they called a book below some fan fiction that I've read. I would like to point that out.
Hey, there's probably some really good fan fiction out there.
There
Yeah,
is.
it really is.
There is. There's a lot of good Harry Potter fan fiction, and J.K. Rowling is not writing it.
How much I hate Supergirl.
Yeah.
I want it to be good so much. Like, just give me the last 5 episodes on repeat for the rest of ever, and I'll be okay. Last 5 episodes of season 1. I love the Red Kryptonite episode so much, and the Flash episode.
The Flash is getting better because Barry hasn't broken anything in a while.
Sure, yes.
I mean,
alternate universe Barry is currently in the middle of just fucking everything up. You'll find out in like 3 episodes when everything gets fucked up, or next episode, since next week is the crossover. That's probably when Barry's gonna fucking create universes again.
I mean, it is a crossover, so he kind of has to, I'm pretty sure.
The bridge is already there, but he's still gonna make more, because fucking Barry Allen.
He pisses me off so much. And yet, somehow, in spite of all his stupidity, Supergirl is just that much worse.
Yeah. But then again, she didn't ask for your permission.
Yeah, that's true. But she did.
She really fucking did, okay? Like, she specifically asked the question, and then she's just like, no, I didn't ask for your permission.
Season 1, she's asking her, or one of her friends, or was it her sister or was it her?
It was Lana asking Jimmy Olsen if she'd be okay, or if he'd be okay with her working at Catco with him.
Yeah. And
then
he's like, well, no, that would probably be bad because blah blah. And she's like, oh, I didn't ask for your permission.
No, he didn't say that. He said he would love it if she did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. That's why it's so bad. He kept saying he didn't want to answer because he didn't want to influence her decision at all. And then she just kept pressing him, so he was just like, fuck it, fine, yes, I would love it if you worked here. And she's like, I didn't ask for your permission.
All these squares make a circle.
Stabs him in the neck.
All these idiots write a show.
She reminds me of Popo.
Who was it that got in trouble for trying to hire on just like entirely females and nothing else for sexism?
Jessica Jones.
Joe Biden?
Jessica Jones. If I had heard that about Supergirl, I wouldn't have been surprised either.
Neither would I. Every issue is somehow a woman issue, even if it isn't. Even
and it's always
close.
A man's fault, probably.
She fucking cried when Superman saved her when she was unconscious and about to be killed.
But it was perfectly cool when they were teaming up in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, she literally cried whenever Superman saved her life because, like, I don't know, because she didn't need the help, but she was going to die. But she didn't need any help. But she was going to die.
I would
100% dead. She was unconscious at the fucker's mercy, and then Superman saved her. But she didn't need Superman's help, so she cried.
I would like to end this podcast on a high note by saying, what a woman.
Well said.
I fucking hate Supergirl.